Welcome to Blinkers Off with your hosts, Jared Welch and Aaron Halterman.
Hello, what is up? I'm Jared Welch, Aaron Halterman. It is Tuesday, August 5th, and this is Blinkers Off. What's up, dude? Listen, I think this is probably, it's got to be one of, if not the only Tuesday show we've ever done in 12 plus years. I mean, we've never done a Tuesday show, so this show is going to be a little bit of a recap of last weekend combined with what we're going to look forward to this weekend.
Yeah, it's pretty rare. There's no doubt about it. We've done some Wednesday shows, we've done some Friday shows, but I don't think never a Tuesday. So, yeah, look, real quick, while we're here, my wife's grandfather's passed away, and there's going to be a funeral this weekend. I got to be traveling Wednesday. Got a lot of stuff going on Thursday, so just couldn't do it. So, yeah, thankful to you for to be able to move it to Tuesday as well. So, yeah, it's it's kind of a rough week, but we're definitely getting through it. And yeah, I'm excited. I didn't want to skip a show during Saratoga for sure. So, yeah,
no, I mean, yeah, I would definitely condolences to Heather and you guys, because obviously it's always sad, but you do get to go to New York. Are you going to make it to Saratoga at all? And that's even worse.
I wouldn't think so. I don't know.
It's a tough ask too, it's you gotta play it. You can't be like, hey, I'm going to go to Saratoga. So it's kind of like if she were to bring it up, you'd be like, well, maybe, but
it's pretty much.
yeah. No, I mean, that's the way to play it for sure.
Yeah, it's, I will say this, Sal Riggy was his name. And he loved us. He loves us. He loved the site, and he watched us, and he always commented on Facebook. At least he said he did on our stuff. Yeah, so he was a fan of Saratoga. He's not a horse racing fan, really. He wasn't, but he did like to go to Saratoga. Lots of stories about him taking the I guess they had like a bus that would take him from Plattsburgh to Saratoga, and they would go down once or twice a year. And he was, my favorite story he always tell me is him and his friend were alive in the double in the last race, and the bus was leaving, right after the last race. And they were the last two people on the bus, and they were running, trying to get the bus as it was getting ready to leave. So anyway, he was definitely a fan of us. So, he good guy, 92 years old, so he had definitely lived a full life.
That's, I mean, honestly, it's like, I've had all my grandparents pass away at this point. And so, it's like one of those things where it's sad, but then you're like, as we have gotten older, I feel like you're like, man, we're in our, early 40s, I'm almost 40. It's like, man, I pray that I have another 50 years in me, that's a great way to, can't ask for much more past. Anything past like 80, I feel like you lived a solid life.
Yeah. And he, I would say 91 and a half of his 92 years were pretty good. Last 6 months, he was struggling a little bit. But yeah, listen, when I ever since I've known him, and every time I've went up there, the man would go at 2:00 on a Friday to the bar, have 2 beers from 2:00 to 3:00 and go home. We did that every Friday I ever was up there. Him and I and Chris would do that. And I always look forward to that for some reason. It was just kind of cool, So yeah, he lived a full life for sure. But yeah, it's it's always hard. It's going to happen. It was coming, but it's always tough for sure.
Yeah, Jason, I don't know. There's a lot of bourbon, a lot more to go. I don't know if I've got 50 more years left in this liver. But, in 50 years, they could have all kinds of different technology that could help prolong the ability to drink more. So there's always that. All right. So let's get a little bit into last weekend. By the way, congrats to everybody who took the over on the Pratt. I think I put it at 6.5 or no 6.5. So you hit the over. Yeah, he came in 7, and that's counting the DQ of Zulu Kingdom, which I'm going to talk about right now. So obviously, by the way, he was on fire. It was unbelievable what Pratt did. Not really unbelievable. Not maybe for some, but not for us. He like the thing about him was I went through all the numbers. You and I were going over it. He had 7 winners, but he also was in the money like 69% of his mounts, which was
nice,
which is awesome either way. But it's like well ahead of anyone close, right? So he would every time I would text you, even when he didn't win, I'd be like, there's another. Like he's his even the horses that were 10-1, 8-1, like he was getting these horses to run. So it was kind of like the perfect storm of it was like he knew we talked about it. No, we didn't, but it was on the show, and he's like, all right, watch this.
It was like he was a good jockey. Like,
absolutely, yeah. Jason was enjoying all the tweet. All the tweets all weekend.
Here's the thing I was thinking of, and I was seeing screenshots of them and just laughing, like all the people doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Just like,
wow.
like,
oh, we still should have won on obliteration. So we can see, it's like he should have won. Well, he still should have won that one.
So anyway, I was thinking about this though. How is this not a thing that we can bet on over under jockey wins? Because you're sitting there and like we're following it because we're laughing, right? Because it's like, yeah, we knew this. By the way, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we set the line at 6.5. That's a lot at Saratoga. And he overcame it. He should have overcame it by a couple. But anyway, back to what I'm saying. As I'm following along, I'm thinking, how many people would bet this? And how much fun would this be if you had money on the line? And why doesn't every jockey Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday morning, you look up and there's a board that says, okay, Junior Alvarado over under 1.5, IRAD 7.5. How is this not a thing in 2025? And how much fun would this be if we could do it?
You could do that for jockeys. You could do it for trainers.
Yeah.
With jocks, it would be, you could do it for the day, just daily stuff if you wanted to keep it simple. But yeah, like you could sit there and be like, well, or if Pratt's, ice cold, you could be, and his line goes down. Like, well, it's Flavian Pratt. He's gonna get hot. Like, take the over. So like there would be all kinds of ways to bet. And there's been like the game, the daily games and stuff that companies have tried over the years that are kind of like you're picking the jockeys each day or whatever, not necessarily the horses. They've kind of tried that. I'd bet it all day. I would have bet. Well, I know one thing. I would have bet it on Friday or on Thursday when we were talking about it.
Yeah. Well, it baffles me. It's like, come on, guys. Like this is 2025. You can literally, unfortunately, for some pitchers out there that are getting suspended or investigated, I can literally watch a baseball game and bet if the next pitch is going to be a ball or a strike. Like I could go, and look, our wagering menu is what we've got is fine, but it's like player props are a huge thing. Like a massive thing. And how do we not have that? And don't give me there's no excuse. Don't give me, they can't do this or they can't do that, or this isn't allowed or what. No, figure out a way. I mean, it's super easy. And look, like we set a line of 6.5, just grazing through the entries. And we were there. We were right on the line, right? It came down to Sunday, the last couple of races. So you can't tell me you can't have somebody at the track study this and make nice lines for it. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I just was following it and like, this is so much fun to follow. But imagine if we could do this, we could bet on it, all this stuff. I don't know. It's just crazy to me. They can't figure out how to expand to something like that.
Well, it's funny because they have all these, there's not a ton, but there's options, especially during like the Derby, things like that, where they have different options to bet. But like to something as simple as, especially for someone new that maybe doesn't know or can't quite figure it out, but it's like, hey, we're doing just as an example, Sierra Leone versus Fierceness head to head. That's it. It's like a very simple, this horse has to be this one. That's it. And like those kind of bets that are extremely easy to like for a new person to understand. Well, hey, all I have to do, this horse has to beat that horse. You know what I mean? And make it that simple. And that's easy to get someone new to the game that doesn't understand all the different aspects. And so there's all kinds of ways. And again, you could do that every single race. It's not like it'd be hard. So yeah, but hey, like You would think some of these tracks or these AEWs and stuff would want to try different things, but
no,
yeah,
they
whatever.
don't.
All right, let's get into the two kind of huge. I mean, listen, I don't know if it was in the water or what, but it was just like all of a sudden we just decided in horse racing to be like, you know what? It's time we shake up the DQ situation in horse racing. And I mean, it was like, so this was on Friday. And by the way, if you haven't seen it yet, if you haven't seen the recap of the weekend, we'll go watch that video from Halterman. It's awesome. We're back to watch showing replays because you know what, we don't really care. And so I'll pull the replay up. We'll watch it together here. Again, the what took place. This was in Friday. Zulu Kingdom won easily in this race. Was DQ'd in the first turn, Halterman. So like the DQ is about to happen right here, guys. So number 7 is Zulu Kingdom. It's the 3 and the 2 that is the issue right there. That's it.
I can't watch it without laughing.
That's it. Like it's over.
Yeah.
Like that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
I'll go back. So what they're claiming happened is the 7 came in, caused the 3 to come in, caused the 3 to come in on the 2. The 2 will fast forward all the way to the end here. The 2, which by the way had a brutal trip and ran well. It's Luther ran really well, all things considered.
Yeah.
But there was, they say, well, he got beat by 2 lengths here or whatever, 2.5, whatever the margin ended up being, and that was enough. What happened in the first turn was enough to cause or validate, hey, he should be taken down.
I mean, it's just and it keeps getting better as they've suspended him for 3 days for this just horrific ride where he didn't touch anybody, didn't come close to touching anybody. So
can you see the other one? Can you see,
what?
Can you see? Oh no, I don't have that up yet. Hang on, let me pull the other one up. So I want to pull the overhead up as well.
Okay.
Because check this out. This is even better.
Okay, here we go.
So right here. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah. So a few things, okay, that stick out to me even more than when I did the video earlier. I talked about, I was watching Saratoga Live, and Paul LaDuca was one of the ones on the telecast that he really needed the 2. And so when they saw it at first, Paul was like, they have got to look at this. This could be something, because he really needed the 2. And they literally showed a couple different angles to them that they didn't show on TV. And Paul came on and said, "Oh, this is nothing." Basically,
yeah.
He's like, no, I was wrong. I see this shot now. There's nothing there." And so then, like, because I needed Zulu, right? And at that point, I was like, okay, because the way LaDuca reacted at first, I thought, well, maybe something is there, because he was pretty much like, we really need to look at this right now. And the other guys were like, I'm not sure. And then they showed that view, and everybody was like, this is crazy. And so they were all, and Paul LaDuca, who needed the 2, was literally on there going, I don't know why this is taking so long. It's clear nothing happened. And he knew the longer it was taking that it was going to happen. So I was stunned. I was just stunned. And I felt like an idiot, because Dennis has texted me, and he's, I don't know. Yeah, I think he was at the OTB or something. And he's like, I don't know. And I was like, dude, like, I'm watching it. Like,
there's no way.
Yeah, there's nothing to it. Don't worry about it. He's like, dude, it's taking so long. I'm like, Dennis, I'm sitting here watching it. We're fine. Nothing's gonna happen. Then they take him down, and freaking Kevin B was texting me, and I was like, this is ridiculous. He's like, I know, and then yeah. So I don't know. You rarely see like everybody saying, hey, that was a bad call,
So like, I'll try to, so like everything, like the 3, which the 2's on the inside, that's Luther, the 3, and then there's Zulu there on the outside of them. The 3 starts to move in on the 2 before the 7 does anything. Yeah. So obviously the 3 got spooked by the 7, not the 7's fault, but he did. And look, right, he's already crowding them. The 2 is, or I mean the 3 on the 2. He's already there. Now he's there. He's his head, like the horse's head is moved in now.
Yeah.
And yet Pratt has not moved whatsoever.
No.
He's still on the same path. He's comes down. It's insane.
I know.
It's almost like it's like penalizing somebody in NFL or whatever, another sport, where it's like, well, man, that could have been bad. It could have happened. If you would have gone a little bit more over, it's like, well, it didn't. It didn't happen. And not just that, we'll go into the next one here in a second that happened it's like 2 days later at Del Mar, which is insane. It just, like, again, it was like, we're setting, like, all of a sudden what used to not matter is now the beginning of these races is getting horses taken down.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just a wild, inconsistent pattern to start, because you watch, I mean, gosh, how many races do you especially on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, do you watch a day? I watch a day.
Yeah.
It happens every race. Every single race, out of the starting gate, someone gets, stumbles, or they squeeze in on somebody, and, whatever. Look at the Kentucky Derby. You don't ever see that called in the Kentucky Derby early in the race. And look at the way you can name 6 horses in a Derby that get pinched at the beginning, have some sort of troubled trip in the first turn. It's never called. So why now? This is just wildly inconsistent, in my opinion.
Well, and the explanation was, the jockey of the 3, in anticipation of getting hit by the 7, goes to the left and hits the 2. So, okay, so if we anticipate something might happen now, it's okay for us to do it. Like, the 3 fouls the 2, period. That's the end of it. That's it. It's over. But guess what? The 2 finished ahead of the 3, so there isn't anything to do, right? If the 3 beats the 2, take the 3 down and put the 2 in front, right? But that's not what happened. And again, it's just insane. And look, I've been thinking about this a lot, and the bettors just continue to get screwed in this game. I'm not a steward. I'll never be a steward. I don't know anything about doing it, right? As far as the training or whatever. But to me, you always should err on the side of making no change. And here's why. Here's why. And I'll explain what I'm saying. Everybody watches the race and sees who wins. So in this case, Zulu Kingdom is lengthening his margin of victory in the stretch and winning by about 2.5 lengths. I don't know the official margin. Okay. Every bettor who has Zulu Kingdom in a win, a double, a pick 3, 5, whatever, they feel the joy of winning, right? They've done it, and it's a clear win, right? And if you watch this race live, and here's a great example, out of you and I and John, I was the only one that even knew there was an objection. Do you know why, guys? Because Jared and John White, a steward, turned the race off. Because you watch this race live, there's nothing to see. Okay?
Even so much like that. Sorry, but when you mentioned it, and John and I were like, "What?" And even John's like, "What?" I'd be like, "What do you even like? Just like couldn't even come up with the way that there would be possibly a DQ in the race."
You both had no idea what I was talking about.
No.
And you were like, "Well, who's it on?" And I said, "It's on the winner." They're like, it was you or John one. We're like, "No, it's not." I think it was you. Like, yeah, no, it is. But guys, so a race ends, and you have the joy of winning. And even if you bet the 2, you watch the race and you got beat, right? So you didn't watch the race and go, you may have watched and said, "Boy, the trip was tough," right? But you didn't watch it and go, "I should have won," or take the 7 down immediately, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, if there's an inquiry or an objection, okay, you better damn sure have video evidence that you can show that a rational, now listen, there's always going to be irrational people that aren't going to agree with anything, right? But if you better have video evidence that is clear to the public that this horse that just won by 2.5 lengths did something very wrong. And if you do not have that, you cannot take horses down, period. And I don't care if you win by a head or a length or 10, you better damn sure have clear video evidence, because what you're doing in this case is taking away money that people have already thought is in their pocket. Now, again, what Dennis said is true. It's never over until it says official, but I don't care. That joy, that thrill of winning, you're taking it away. And sometimes it's right to do so because there was a clear foul. But in situations like this, if you're gonna take away money from people who saw it with their own eyes and it's over and it wasn't close and there was really nothing to see the whole race, you are setting a very dangerous
Exactly.
standard
Yep.
for this game. Dangerous.
Totally.
Yep.
And it's like, to me, it happens all the time when you have a horse that you're like, it's called having a bad trip. You got a bad trip, and it happens, right? It's unlucky. It's unfortunate sometimes. You're like, dang, man, if that horse could bet him back next time, whatever. There's a difference between that and, hey, my horse has got a clear run down the lane here coming from home, and this horse just rammed the shit out of him. Right. And then you're like, okay, I think he was going to win. And then you have something to talk about. Whereas this, it's like, we don't know. Like you're basically, like you said, the stewards are making a decision of what I think this would have happened. We don't happen the first turn. Like you're saying that because the shadow of Zulu Kingdom impeded one horse, and I say the shadow impeded him, that now he would have beat Zulu enough to where not only did Zulu got put fourth, like that was the thing. It wasn't like you got put second. It was like just a complete and utter failure. And somehow this wasn't even the worst DQ of the weekend.
Exactly. But again, if the 7 nails the 3 right there, I mean, just nails him, and then the 3 nails the 2, then we get into that area where it's like, okay, even though we didn't even see it live, if you send me a replay back and I'm like, oh man, he hit him hard, then again, as a rational person, I go, well, I'm at the mercy of the stewards at this point. Like, and I get it, and I understand if they take him down, I'm not gonna be happy about it, but I do get it. We're sitting here watching this, and again, if you bet Zulu Kingdom, the horse ran a fantastic race, and it's just like you took that joy away for no reason, and that's very dangerous. Anyway, go on.
No, I mean, I just listen. I think that, like you said, I think we're creating something here that is dangerous because now it's like it won't happen the next time, right? Like the next time they won't call it, and then you'll say, well, where the hell was that weekend? And so it's just, to a bettor, it's going to be like, well, I don't know, like when are they gonna call it? When are they not going to call it? And to me, like you said, let's just not mess with it. If it's not an issue, if it's not, just leave it. Unlucky, sure. If you had the 3, or if you bet the 2 there, if you bet Luther, and to me, I think any person would be like, man, there was a lot that was a tough trip. Like, definitely, like, man, I think I was right. Like, I admit, you could say whatever. I think he would have won if he would have got a better trip. But you're not sitting there saying, take him down, take the 7 down. That, you know what I mean?
No.
Like, no normal person is going to think that. But yet, and by the way, there was no, like, the stewards were off. It was like there was no. They didn't even put the light up. It was like,
yeah.
They didn't even put it to their attention. It was because of the claim of foul. So it's most of the time you look at that and you're like, it's 2 seconds. Like, no, forget about it. What are you doing? It's the first turn.
Yeah.
And instead they took him down.
Yep. It's like I said, the most telling thing of all is LaDuca on there, who really needed Luther to win, and he was fired up about it, probably because what you're talking about. He probably in his mind, he's like, he should have won. He got a horrible trip. Oh shit, he may have got a horrible trip because of the 7. Here's my chance. Oh, I see a replay. Oh, I have no chance. Like you felt that from a I'm glad he bet Luther, because from a Luther betting standpoint, you got to see that process mentally from a gambler, and it's just like, that's all the evidence you need, really. I know. I don't know.
Okay, for some reason I can't get the video to post or the video to play. Where'd you find the video for the Del Mar one?
I just went to Del Mar's website, Del Mar's YouTube page, and you got to go to like the 16-minute mark before they finally show the replay.
Okay, hang on.
I'll talk about it while you're finding it. This one at Del Mar is it's worse, I think. It was a foul, like something did happen, I should say, but it was right out of the gate. And you're setting it's just a very dangerous standard if we're going to start DQing horses out of the gate, especially ones that don't do a whole lot, and especially ones that kind of happen because the horse got left a little bit. So anyway, this one may have been a little bit worse even. And
what race number was it?
It was race number 10 at Del Mar on Sunday. This one I think was worse. It may be worse because of the decision was just a head scratcher. There it is. Yeah.
So yeah, this was, this was, like I said, somehow this was the last one this was not even the worst one. This was.
So that's if you go to like 16 minutes or so, they'll show the overhead, but that's the start of it. So what happens here, the 5 and the 7 kind of sandwich together and squeeze the 6 off, and it comes in 5-7, right? So, this is really bad. They'll show it here in just a second. They wait a second here and then they'll show it. So here it is right here. And you kind of just see they kind of come together like that. This is something I might see 20 times a day.
It happens almost every race, I feel like.
And the 6 broke slow. So if this is a good view, watch this. Okay, here we go. The 6 is broken slow. He's a half step slow. Now he's trying to rush him up. And then the hole shuts off right here. Really, the 6 was the one breaking slow, kind of caused it. And then the jockey trying to rush him up kind of caused it more than anything. Here's a head on.
This to me is just I don't have a lot of words for this one.
A foul did did he get sandwiched? Is it bad luck? Yeah, it is.
But here's the thing. Had he not stumbled, right?
Yeah.
They're probably not calling anything. I think it's like it's like when a quarterback goes down, on a the late hit. If he goes down, it looks really bad. They're probably going to get the call. This to me, it was like if that hadn't happened, had he just because again, holds pinch horses get pinched all the time out of the gate, but because he kind of made that stumble, it looked worse. Yeah. I think it's just bad luck, But because of the visual of it, listen, I'm trying to make it's insane. I could have watched this race 1,000 times and never once been like, that horse needs to be taken down.
Well, not and once. So, yeah. So
how about the 7? The 7 kind of comes in more, I feel like more than the 5.
100%. So it came in 5-7-3. So our buddy, Geist needed the 3 to stay alive for a pretty big pick 5. Right. So we're like, he's mad. He's mad. He's like, God dang it. Like, knew I should have used that 5. So he's saying stuff like that. Then there's an inquiry, and then we're all like, well, who cares? This isn't anything. And then as it keeps going, he goes, wait a second. Is there any chance they're going to double DQ the 5 and the 7? And I said that's the only thing they can do. They 100% should not do it, but that's the only thing they can do because they both are kind of at fault the same. And I said the 7 might even be at fault a little bit more than the 5, but it's pretty much the same, right? They sandwich the 6 because the 6 is too slow out of the gate. And the longer they go, I'm texting and I'm like, I think you're going to get really, really lucky here. They're making a change. It took forever. They DQ'd the 5 and left the 7 alone. So the 5 got moved back and the 7 wins this race. And I'm like, that is incredibly stupid. Like, you either DQ them both, which would be stupid, or you leave it alone, which would have been smart. I mean, I don't know what this is. And to think all the time, like remember California Racing by Earn when he took out the whole field and they didn't take him down? Like,
yeah, it's a classic.
To think that they're going to do, if we're going to start now, Saratoga's one thing, and it was awful. This is insane. If we start looking at the start of all these races, that is going to be insanity. And I'm going to tell you something. What just happened right there is going to happen 6 times a week at every track.
Yeah, and by the way, you're gonna, and they should every time that happens, whether it be at Saratoga or Del Mar. Every time someone gets pinched or horse, IRAD comes over and you're gonna, and for good reason. If we're gonna, like I said, these precedents in both those situations that happened this weekend are dangerous for the game, because what you just did is you opened the box for more of these to happen. And by the way, it's going to happen, and it's going to happen every single day, and it's never going to be called, only when they feel like it. Why is it that, and by the way, usually, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but usually that this was not a stakes race, but the Hall of Fame, typically you say, well, it's a stakes. They're probably not going to mess with this. It's like, you're not going to, it's a Kentucky Derby. They're not going to, out of the gate, they're not going to call something like that.
Yeah.
It's less likely in the bigger races, which doesn't really make any sense, that is going to, one way or a call is going to happen or not going to happen. And so there's no consistency there with what these are called. And that's why, like you said, just to round it all back together, just to leave it. Just leave it.
Yeah, I don't even mind, well, there's an objection. You got to take a look at it. There's an inquiry. Let's take a look at it. That's fine. But again, like, if you see in those instances clear, problems, like clear, knocking into another horse, and it's clear video evidence that you can then turn around and present to us, that's fine. Like that, but you have got to err on the side of no change unless there is something clear. And both times, another weird thing about it, both times the people on TV were like, what is going on? This is ridiculous. You know what I mean? And again, you always seem to have that one in the group that's like, well, hold on, wait a second. And you kind of go back and forth. Everybody was in agreement. And then you listen to all kinds of different opinions who are usually fighting amongst each other. They're all just like, oh, this is horrible. This is horrible. Guys that I usually disagree with on the daily were like, this is a joke. And that's when it's like, okay, this really was bad stuff.
And how, because the biggest one that's happened recently that was I'd say, really split 50-50 was the Preakness, right? With journalism, what are we doing there? That's still, I think you go and ask 10 people, you're going to get 5 each way.
Yeah.
But nothing changed, right? And yet we are DQing a horse for these, but and I agree, there shouldn't have been a change in the Preakness. There shouldn't have been changes on these 2 races that we just went over. So you're not going to DQ journalism that day, but we're going to DQ Zulu Kingdom for that because it was a dangerous situation. Are you serious? A dangerous situation? Watch Rispoli ram right between. And again, I'm on the board of no change there, but if you showed a new, there's no way you can be like, well, that is, and let's go back and let's watch Shared Belief get taken out of the Classic that year. That wasn't called. This was called. This isn't called. That is called. It's insane.
So you go back to what I said. Hey, you better not make a change unless there's clear evidence. And to me, that the Preakness was a situation where there was clear evidence that something happened, right? And so you would have, at that point, even if they take down journalism, which I don't think I think goal-oriented caused it. People think journalism caused it. I don't want to get back into it. Either way, you do see something happened, and it happened in the stretch, and you're kind of at the mercy of whatever happens at that point. I would have gotten it. I agree with what they did. To me, it was clever again. Who got the worst of it, and we kind of know now they probably made the right decision. He probably wasn't going to do much running anyway. So It all worked out.
Hey, he looked a little bit better on turf. He looked okay.
Oh, he did. No, he did for sure. But again, if something would have happened there, I would not have went crazy about it because there's video evidence of a lot of things going on there, right? There's nothing. Like it's like when they took Maximum Security down, he was all over the track. Like he hit horses all over the place. Like there's clear video evidence that he impeded several horses. So I mean, then it's like you're at the mercy of the stewards. If you bet him, you just hope they keep him up. If they take him down at the end of the day, you watch that back and you go, well, like he almost killed War of Will. And, so it's like, I get it, So.
I mean, can you just imagine because like, let's just like, again, this is the last we'll say about it because we could talk about it forever. But like, can you imagine just go back to, let's think of one. Just a race like Justify or something like that. I'm thinking of I'm sort of like a dominant kind of like never really a doubt he won the race. It was, and like you go back and you're like, oh well, he took out 3 horses, or he pinched a couple horses in that 100 yards out of the gate, whatever.
Yeah,
he goes wins like that. They DQ him. That would have been insane. Like you couldn't even comprehend that. And that's exactly what happened here in this case.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So,
you're right. And I can't remember 2 worse ones than these. And I tried to think back because there's been and look, you could probably pull up videos, be like, no, this one's worse. And I would agree, but I just can't think of 2 worse ones. I can't. And then, like I said, Naira suspending Pratt, and John laughed and he said, I've seen that for a million years. They think if they suspend him, it'll, people go, oh, well, maybe he did do something wrong. And it's literally just saving face.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
All right, guys, that was a very long 35-minute opening of the show, but we're going to get into today's show because listen, this week is not by any means a down week, but it's like they're all kind of level. It feels like we're kind of good racing. You got the Boston Spa, you got Saratoga Oaks, Sword Dancer, which is the Breeders' Cup race for the turf. You've got the Beverly D at Colonial Downs, and of course Arlington Million. Which, hey, speaking of a Kentucky Derby, you got Kentucky Derby winner Mystic Dan in the Arlington Million. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But again, with it not being a huge weekend of racing, no main huge race, we're going to go in. This was the first weekend of the Breeders' Cup Classic Power or the rankings coming out. Halterman and I vote for this as part of the media, the Breeders' Cup Classic throughout the year as we get closer. And we'll give our, this is our first week of it. We'll give our each of our lists pretty similar, really. This first. Kind of go through a little bit of why they're there. Obviously, this weekend with Sierra Leone kind of made his case for being one of the top horses in the Classic, to defend his Classic, we should even say. So we're going to go through that. We're going to talk about the Sword Dancer. We're going to talk about all those stakes races across the country. Let's go.
I just thought of a race. I can't remember when Forte won the Breeders' Futurity, and I cannot remember for the life of me the Brad Cox horse name that finished second. And Forte, I mean, he could have been DQ'd that day. Like there was obvious bumping. And the only reason I bring it up is Samich and I were on the air and we both had Forte. And it was one of those situations we both were kind of like, it was Loggins. Yeah, Davey, it was Loggins. We're like, you know what? If Forte gets taken down, that there's just not, I can't sit here and
everyone's like Loggins.
Yeah, because everybody had Loggins. A lot of people did. And like Dennis is saying, he said there should have been a DQ. Those are the kind of things I'm talking about. If I can watch a race and I've got money on the horse that I think fouled, that's when it's okay, in my opinion, to DQ it, because there was clear interference in that race. So anyway.
Yeah, Scurvy. Thankfully for fierceness, we'll talk a little bit about him coming up, but because of the DQ situation, I didn't have time to hammer the shit out of this horse in the opening because I'm with we'll talk about him coming up. The first week of Breeders' Cup Classic rankings is out. Halterman and I are part of the media that vote each week for these Breeders' Cup Classic as we get closer to the race at Del Mar this fall. And listen, with the Whitney running last weekend, we've gotten another, a Breeders' Cup Classic. We've had some of those classic challenge races are starting to happen now. Obviously, the 3-year-old division red hot with the Travers coming up. We'll go through each when we do these rankings. We'll try to add these. Whether sometimes we'll be focused like this, otherwise we will mention them each and every week as we get closer and closer. And looking at obviously Halterman and I vote separately, and then here's our list, and you can. The way I see it, and I think the way you see it based on how you ranked, it really feels like, okay, there's these first 5. And if you want to throw in Forever Young, I'm not going to say no, because obviously he's a classy horse. But these top 6 are all kind of, to me, all in the same group. And then kind of underneath for me, the way I voted, White Barrio, Highland Falls, even Bieza. I put Torpedo Anna in there. I would be shocked if I take her out, but I was so mad at Fierceness. I was like, I'm not ranking that asshole at all. Past that, it's like, those are the ones where you're like, yeah, they deserve to be in it. I don't see them winning. But to me, Sovereignty, Mindframe, Journalism, even Sierra Leone, Nisos, and I'll throw in Forever Young, all could be number 1 in some regards. And I'll say this too, before I hand it over to you. If the race was this weekend, I was thinking about this today. If the race was this weekend, Sierra Leone for me wouldn't be 4. I might have Sierra Leone 2. You know what I mean? Because I do think he's got a big time chance to win. But this is kind of taken into account as not only my horses who I think have a good chance to win, but also what they've done this year to deserve to be ranked there. And that's obviously why Sovereignty, that was first win of the year for Sierra Leone. That's why he's still down a little bit, but I certainly think he showed on Saturday, hey, with the right setup, I can win this thing again.
Yeah, he's going to have a setup. That's him, right? For sure. But I just, I always chuckle. Sierra Leone, I think got 6 or 7 first place votes this week in the horse racing poll that we're in. Not this one, but where we rank the top 10 thoroughbreds each week.
Yeah.
For the NTRA, that's the word I was looking for. And he got 6 or 7 first place votes. And I just was laughing to myself. Sierra Leone is 1 for 3 this year. Okay. Mindframe is 3 for 3 and beat Sierra Leone on June 28th, I believe. It was last weekend in June. I know that. Why do we run the races if we're just gonna do that? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, for me, it's funny. I was talking to Stillman last night. He called me out of the blue, want to talk about this classic, and he was like, I don't know why, but just I think more of Sierra Leone than I do of Mindframe. I think Sierra Leone is the horse that's going to beat Sovereignty. And I said, it's funny you say that, because Mindframe has raced Sierra Leone twice. Once in the Belmont Stakes, where he clearly beat him despite running, sideways in the stretch, and once in the Stephen Foster, where he clearly beat him again. They're going to match up in the Jockey Club Gold Cup the last weekend at Saratoga. Sierra Leone's first step for me to be ranked ahead of Mindframe is to actually beat him. So we'll see if he can do that. That's going to be very interesting for sure. To me, it's still Sovereignty up there at number 1. I think his running style is puts him ahead of Sierra Leone. I think he's a horse that will turn for home like Fierceness did, but still run and keep running and not quit, because that's kind of what he's done in the last 2 races. So he's kind of clear cut to me. Mindframe is a clear cut number 2. And then I really think Sierra Leone's a clear cut number 3. And then after that, Journalism needs to prove he can beat Sovereignty. Right? Nisos needs to prove he can go a mile and a quarter. If he can, he's going to move up. Forever Young, I forgot he was alive. But yeah, if he's here, obviously he ran 3rd last year. He's classy. We'll see. Bieza, got to prove you can beat somebody. I mean, he got 1 win, but he's been beaten by really good horses. And then, yeah, White Barrio, Fierceness, Highland Falls. It's you got to get White Barrio and Fierceness. You got to figure out how to get your best race back. Highland Falls, I mean, he's really good, but I think he's just a small cut below. Yeah,
and I think that's unfortunate for some of these bottom half, because that's this year's Breeders' Cup Classic. I saw Samich did something today about that a little bit with Vison, and it's this thing could be an all-timer, man. And like, I mean, listen, I'll say this: if we get this race, these 10, 11, because I have Torpedo Anna, I don't have Fierceless. Let's say 11. Let's say you get one extra one, whoever that is, 12 or so. If you were to get that full field, it's the best all time. It's the best classic all time. And I don't mean like, because like I said, we've had Pharaoh, we've had insanely good horses running the classic. But from a betting standpoint, top to bottom, the list, man, this would just be one of those races where we always say how the Breeders' Cup is one of those things where it's like you could be right and wrong at the exact same time. And my goodness, you could be all over a horse in this race and be totally right and not hit the bet, because there could be another horse. Nysos could run his insane race or whatever. Man, the way this thing is shaping up, just got to pray for health. And honestly, when I think it's very easy. I said they group them all together. I think it's Sovereignty, and then group the other 4 or 5 underneath him, and then the other bunch underneath them. I think it's that, like, because what's like the thing Sovereignty's proven is he's not pace dependent. He's not, we talk about mind frame, and I think I like mind frame a ton. But some people, well, it was a soft pace, and and that's fair. Like there are things that he still needs to prove in these big races. We know journalism can't be Sovereignty. That's happened. Sierra Leone certainly needs a pace, like that we kind of established that. Nysos is maybe the wild card. Sovereignty, it just seems like there's no chinks in his armor yet, and until you see it, it's like it's hard to. I mean, regardless of him being a 3-year-old, I just think he's in a different league than what we've seen of these other these older, especially the older ones.
Yeah, I mean, what happened basically, and what's caused this incredible chance at this incredible race? The 3-year-olds last year, the last year's 3-year-old crop, they got really good over the summer and into the fall, right? And it was, apparent. They ran 1, 2, 3 in the classic, and the horse of the year was in the 3-year-old crop and Torpedo Anna. And they're all back. And that's the shocking part. And then, oh, by the way, Nysos was in that crop, and he was really freaking good before he got hurt. And Mindframe got hurt and didn't run in the classic, but he was really good as well. So, like, whoa, that's a great bunch. And now you've got a 3-year-old crop this year who's really freaking good. So you got back-to-back crops. That's when you have a special situation brewing like this, right? Because look, if we had a 3-year-old crop like Mage and that group, it's like, well, hey, these 4-year-olds, they better show up, or this classic's not going to be very good. But I mean, we're literally in a situation now where, and I do not want this to happen, but say Sierra Leone gets hurt, we have so much depth that it would still be a great race. Like, this race at this moment does not hang on 1 or 2 horses getting there.
Yeah, it's I mean, magnitude is still, like, we'll see. Like, he becomes an insanely interesting horse if he can. He's got to put a couple races still together, and obviously the Travers would be a key one there to show that he's even in the ballpark of say a horse like Sovereignty. But I mean, if he is somewhat legit, and then all of a sudden the pay, like, Sierra Leone's like, please get in that race, right? Because the pace would be there for a horse like Sierra Leone. So, yeah, and again, another 3-year-old, that is just this crop that it's like a horse like Magnitude. Those last two, we don't, you don't even talk about them for good reason, because we still have a lot to prove. But how good this crop is, this 3-year-olds, it's insane, really. And and we have a bunch of decent ones that are obviously not in this. I would imagine 1 or 2 of those will end up running in the classic, right? But with Sovereignty and journalism and Bieza, man, like, maybe he puts it together eventually and continues to. He's still figuring it out. Like you said, he's been thrown into the wolves from the start, basically. Maybe he gets it together at the right time, kind of similar to Sierra Leone, last year, where he kind of popped at the right time in the classic.
Yep.
It wouldn't there seems crazier things. This thing is just brewing to be something special in November.
Well, imagine, on the subject of Magnitude, who, by the way, like, he has beaten pretty much nobody, right? Yeah. But he's doing it by the length of the stretch. So I I can't count him out and I can't count on him. Kind of situation with him, right? You just have to see it. You said it best. You're just going to see what he does. But let's pretend, and I don't think it's crazy, but let's pretend he either wins the Travers or he's very close to winning and he gets past late, right?
Yeah.
Well, that all of a sudden interjects a whole nother dynamic into this thing.
Yeah.
Because then he's proven, okay, he's really legit. I mean, that's going to be very interesting. Chunk of Gold is not getting interesting for anything.
Definitely not getting
classic related. No.
Yeah. No. He might run in. I could see Chunk of Gold running in like dirt mile, maybe. Maybe not running, not winning.
See him running third in it.
Pennsylvania Derby. Yeah. Listen, no matter what, Magnitude being in the race, if he could get there, because speed is speed. Whether he fades or not, speed is speed, and he's got it. He's got it. I mean, that dude is fast. So all of a sudden, a horse like Fierceness, who's got no guts at all, he's done. Right? He won't. He'll quit so fast. Horses that do have a little bit of speed early on, whether it be a Nisos that maybe he'll show it. Mind frame, he's kind of versatile, but some of these horses, like you said, the whole thing just kind of twists a little bit. With a horse that's like there's like rabbit speed and there's speed. And what we've seen, again, that was against nobodies, but he's beaten them easily. If he can continue that, yeah, he becomes at the very least a factor in the race.
I want him to do exactly what I said, either win the Travers or lose in a race where you go, holy shit, this horse is good.
Yeah.
Because I just think, he's just so impressive how he's doing it. And it's like, I just want that to continue, because if we get another 3-year-old that can run triple digit buyers over and over and over, and this horse is really fast early, maybe that running style can beat Sovereignty, right? You know what I mean? And so it's like, I want the Travers to draw. I want there to be not a whole lot of speed up front. I want to see Magnitude get to the front, and I want to see if Sovereignty can run him down. If he's, and I want to see him fresh turning for home. I think that would be so much fun. And a lot of this that I'm manifesting in my head is because name another situation in the Travers where Sovereignty should really have a challenge, right? Because it feels to me like I don't think Journalism or Baeza are going to be there. So if Magnitude's not very good, then all of a sudden the Travers is kind of a workout for Sovereignty.
And you got to be really careful with a horse like that who doesn't necessarily have the is still kind of proving it where it's like, hey, we're just gonna let that that cheap speed let him go.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
I'd be careful about that one.
I will tell you this: if you let him by himself, he's going to do what he did in the Iowa Derby and in the Risen Star. Yeah. He's not cheap speed, so you better have something in there to run with him, or he will be dangerous.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because we saw it somewhat, I guess, in the Jim Dandy where Baeza tried and obviously Sovereignty came and got him and won that thing. But if it's something similar to that with Magnitude, where it's like, hey, he looks a little scary up front, and then here comes Sovereignty doing Sovereignty things, then you're like, hey, shit. I mean, if Baeza is 9 for me, 7 for you, how does Magnitude not end up being somewhere in that 6 to 8, 9 range? So in that case, he's a total player of the thing. Even with a loss, like you said, to Sovereignty, because listen, losing to Sovereignty is fine as long as you do it, somewhat. It's somewhat respectable. So,
yeah. I mean, what if he finishes a length behind him, or something like that? I mean, you're right. He's going to be ranked. Journalism and Baeza ranked 4th and 7th on mine, and what are they ranked 3rd and 9th on yours? So, I mean, if Magnitude loses in a similar fashion, I think we could say, okay, yeah, he's a horse you have to take serious.
For real. Yeah, I don't know, man. I would not be shocked at all if we don't see Fierceness run again, or if they back off and say you're going dirt mile, because that now it's like we already saw it, right, with the weekend with the scratch of Mind Frame, and obviously that did not work. but they're not really necessarily wanting to run them together. Obviously, the Classic would be a little different, but I could see them taking different paths now and be like, okay, now Mind Frame's our horse. Mind Frame's the guy that we're going to get to the Classic, and we'll do something else with Fierceness. I think you got to think Todd's like, this horse is going to kill me. You know what I mean? Like, this horse is such. He's one of those frustrating horses that I can think of all time. Obviously, I'm sure there's others, but for me personally, just he gets into the gate and you don't know if you're going to get a 115 buyer out of him or if you're going to get an 80 buyer out of him, and really nothing changes. Like, whether the pace, like, it's not like if the pace or whatever, you don't know. You just don't know when they hit the top stretch. You don't know if he's going to go, if he's just going to fade and give it up. And it really is an insanely frustrating horse. And it's, like I said, it's got to be for Todd, because you go all the way back to the juvenile when they enter the horse is just kind of like, hey, you know what? Let's see what happens. And the horse runs off the screen, basically. And he's like, oh, I thought he was pretty good. I didn't know, and so it's like, and now he seems a little bit back to his old ways. Listen, I hate this horse. I really do.
Yeah. I echo everything you said. I would be careful to write him off, because we've done it before, and he seems to just kind of have a way of coming back, right? And, I really thought what happened was behind him, because he did show a lot of heart to win the Travers, and he did show a tremendous amount of heart to run second in the Breeders' Cup after that hot pace. And that first race at Churchill this year, that he was challenged in that race and he dug in.
Yeah.
And yes, and I know what you're going to say. Hey, the Met Mile, that should have been a sign. And it look, you got it now. Yeah. But I know that it's popular to say, oh, he has no heart, he has no guts, but I've seen him dig in before. I just think, I don't know, honestly, what I think. I don't understand it either. So you're right. They got to just be like throwing their hands up in the air. Like, I don't know what to do with him.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I was texting with Manload at the time and during the race, and you obviously, and everyone, I talked to thought the exact same thing. And it's like, man, turn for home. You basically, if you stop the race and everything before that, you're like, that was that's exactly what I wanted. There's no, like, he's about to win. He's about to run, like, do fiercest things here. He's going to run, win by 3 or 4. Sierra Leone's going to get second. And before you could even think about it for another second, oh shit, he's getting swallowed up. Oh, this like flashbacks to the Kentucky Derby when he kind of looked like he was ready to roll, and then he wasn't. He looked fantastic, from fantastic just to he can't even finish the race.
To me, this was the worst one, because those other times when he didn't show up or whatever, he never got in front in the stretch, right?
Yeah, he separated here.
Like, I swear to God, this is what I did. I'm watching him the whole race. He gets into the stretch. He's up by 3. And so I scale back to look for one horse, because in my mind, there's only one horse that can catch him now, and it's Sierra Leone. I scale back with my eyes. I find Sierra Leone. I go, shit, he's running hard. This is going to get close. I scale back up to Fierceness, and he's not in the lead. That's how quick he quit. Because in my mind, he turned, and I'm like, well, I don't have to worry about anything but Sierra Leone at this point. He looked gone. I told Heather, I said, I think he's getting ready to romp. And I scale back and I said, he's not going to romp because Sierra Leone's firing. And I scale back to the front and he's already behind. I was just like in shock that he did that. And I know, like, the comments are going to say, how can you be in shock? He does it all the time. He's never done it like that, where he looked like he's going to romp and then quit. When he quits, you don't really feel good about him anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So. I mean, he went from, again, I had a lot, on him, and, different varieties. And it's like, oh, here we go. Like, called it, like, his horse, and then just, he finished. He didn't hit the board. I mean, Disarm beat him, Disarm finished 3rd in the race. It's like the only horses he beat were Post Time Skippy, Mama's Gold and the Rabbit, contrary thinking. Like, that's it. That's embarrassing. Like, if you get beat, but like if he runs and Sierra Leone he beats him, right? Then you're like, yeah, like he's better. Like, he doesn't do that same shit, but he's still like not maybe as good as I thought he was. But to just quit is just he's an all or nothing horse. We've said it forever, right? It feels like, and then those couple races, you're like, hey, you know what? He showed up. The Classic, he showed up. Even though he didn't win, he kept coming. He didn't give up. And so I don't know. I really don't know what, and I'm sure Pletcher doesn't either. Like, what's different? What's different between the Classic day and the Whitney day? You know?
I don't know.
Like, what changed?
Because I'm kind of with you. Like, if Sierra Leone would have beat him, I wouldn't. And Fierceness gets second. I just tip the cap to Sierra Leone because he was running hard. Maybe he catches him, right? Even if Fierceness first. But yeah, it's like I don't know. In the whole race, I'm like, man, he's sitting back there like he should. You know what I mean? Like, he's not getting involved. And dude, he made a pretty damn good move to get up ahead like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like, he's 3 links ahead of him, and it's like, damn, he circled him easy. You know?
Yeah. He was several links back, like meaning like off the pace.
Yeah.
And like there was a big gap, relatively big gap for him, especially, between those kind of group of leaders where the speed was happening to him. And then, he made a move and it's like, oh shit, man. Like, and you're right. Like, Sierra Leone certainly loomed up there and you're like, all right, we're going to have a race. And then, then you were like, hopefully he doesn't hit somebody as he's falling backwards,
I'll get DQ'd.
Take someone out while you're at it, like it's I don't know. And the thing is, like, with Fierceness, he's not like if you've ever seen him in person, he's not gonna wow you. He's a good looking horse, like, don't get me wrong, but he's not anything special. Like, he's always just been really good and really fast, really more than anything. And at first it was like, well, hey, just get into the lead, don't worry about anything else, like, as long as you don't mess with the rest of them, you'll just keep running. And now it's like, oh, he can be a little more tactical now. And that's, and I thought he was. It's I don't know. What do you do with him? Let's say he shows back up, and I don't know where he would show up, honestly, where you would go. But let's just say he somehow ends up, he's good enough from between now and then where he shows up in the Classic.
Yeah.
How do you even, because obviously there's a couple different things at work there. One, the field would be insane if you get anywhere close to this. And two, how could you even think about trusting him?
I don't know. I think I was listening to the MIG talk about it the next day, and I think Richard McGlury is incredible on Saratoga Live. He's so good. And he said, look, the only thing that I can really say is he might just be a horse that you just drop your hands and let him do whatever he wants early. Just do not grab the bridle early on him.
Yeah. If he goes and runs 22 and 46, then that's what you did,
Yeah. And that's what he said. And that's going to be to his detriment sometimes. And he said it may have been to his detriment on Whitney Day. No doubt about it. He said, I'm not saying it would have changed anything. He said, but in my mind, because he said what they did last year, keep him outside away from everybody. Understand that you're going to lose links, but keep him away and never grab onto him. He said, that's how I would do it. And he wasn't being critical. I want to be clear. He was just saying, I think that's what they're going to have to do. Just let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He still could screw himself, but he'll be able to get the job done.
Yeah. At least you let him, like, if you're going to, like, would you rather like save the energy or whatever for the stretch run that doesn't exist with him half the time? Or would you rather just, listen, we're going to almost like I was thinking about this too. It was like almost like with a Life is Good, where it's like, what, we're just going to go and you can either try to catch us or not. Right. But this is what we're going to do.
Yep.
And sometimes it worked, and sometimes he got tired. And I think like at that point, like he's obviously got talent. Like I don't want to shit all over him, like because he's won big races, but and that's the thing too about him. When he wins so like whoa, like whoa, that was
Yeah.
impressive. It's not like he gives you that factor of like, oh shit, this is like a pretty decent horse. Yeah, I don't know. Like, wasn't he like a huge wasn't he like 15-1 or something that year when he won the juvenile?
Yeah. Oh, I think he may have been even 50. Yeah, no, I think you're right. 15 or 16.
Somewhere in that area. Like
Yeah.
maybe there's a world where he's like 10-1 in the classic. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, maybe that you can play him.
I think if they ran him off of just this race and went to the classic, he might be 6, 8, 10-1.
Yeah. 16.
To me, I would try to run him somewhere, but I don't know where.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, all right, guys, that's a look. Obviously, lots. What are we at? Like September, October. 2, 3, almost 3 months. A little less than 3 months from the race. So lots could change. We're gonna, most of these horses are gonna get at least one, maybe 2 more races under their belt before the big race. And so, lots could change. But right now, that is a look at Halsburn and I's Breeders' Cup Classic Power Rankings.
This comment, there was a comment saying Highland Falls shouldn't be that low. My problem with it, he finished 8th in the Classic last year. I think this year's going to be a little better. Now, I think he's a little better, but I still think he just kind of has to prove a little bit more at the highest level.
Yeah.
That's where I was worried with him. But also, it's August 5th. It doesn't really matter, right? Like, you know what I mean?
This is more of just a talking point.
Just fun.
Really.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I agree. Like, he impressed me.
Me too.
Saturday for sure. I was like,
Me
oh
too.
yeah, this like, and he kind of showed like he's a solid horse. I think he's the type of horse that, that's the other problem with a horse like that. Like a lot of Breeders' Cup Classics, there would be, a horse like that could come up and win that thing, because like right day, he, journalism, let's just say, or sovereignty doesn't have his best. This guy does. But this year, you're looking at, okay, well, sovereignty can't fire, journalism can't fire, Mindframe can't fire, NISOS can't fire, Sierra Leone, you know what I mean? The list goes on, and all of a sudden, he's not just going to have to run a good race on that day. He's going to have to run, really like career best race, and that's not easy to do.
Put him in the 2023 Classic, the White Barrio one.
Yeah.
You might bet him to win. Right, or have him in the top 2, but
it's also fair to say it's like you said, he's got at least one more race to go.
Yes.
Like at least one more. He's obviously got better from that race than the race prior. Like, he could peek into that. Right, that we're not looking for a horse that's the best right now. We're looking for the horse that's going to be best, in 3 months.
Well, if he can run that race again, he probably wins this next start, I would guess. I don't know where he's running. Maybe he faces another heavyweight, but he runs another race like that. I mean, he's probably a top 5 to 7 type. So we'll see on him.
Pedlo, I think she's pretty damn good. She's so, and like, talk about a horse that's just totally untested, and she's just beating the shit out of these fields.
Yeah. Yeah.
The numbers are good, but they're not like astronomical good. But I mean, she is just not. There's not been anyone close to her.
The worry I have is how far can she go? That's the worry. Yeah.
Yeah. If Highland Falls does go in that jockey club, that race, low key fire.
So this is we'll hit it with this. So we gotta move on. But I do love the comments. I love the subject. Most years, well, hell, Highland Falls won it last year, right? And it's not that tough of a race. This year, Sierra Leone and Mindframe are there. Like, this is going to be one of those years, and if Highland Falls enters, this will be one of those years where the Jockey Club is better than the Whitney. So, yeah, he's going to have to run huge to win that. Not saying he can, he might, but it's like, damn, that's tough.
Why Bieza? We'll go. Just, I think you gotta put Bieza in there, just because he's easily the third best. It's very clear the third best 3-year-old, and I don't, in a lot of years he would have won I mean, shit. I mean, you can make like he could have won the Belmont. He could have won the Derby if a little bit of luck. Like he would have won the Jim Dandy. Like I know he didn't, but I think he's right up there. I mean, certainly as I would put him ahead of a few of those older horses. Certainly, So I think he deserves to be. I mean, we know he's pointed the Classic, so he should be ranked.
Well, look, I think with Baeza, he was born in the wrong year. He ran a winning type of race, the Kentucky Derby. He did not run well in the Belmont. He still got third, but I didn't think that was his best effort. He ran a huge race in the Derby, got beat just barely. He ran a huge race in the Jim Dandy, got beat just barely. Like he's ran a lot of, you talk about Highland Falls and his consistency. Baeza's been damn consistent too. And he's done it more times. I mean, Highland Falls has only had 2 starts this year, so it's just kind of one of those deals. It's also one of those deals like horses like 6 through 15 are very interchangeable.
Now,
right. So,
yeah,
but I think Baeza has proven over and over he can run a race that puts him right there. He just, like everybody else right now, he can't beat Sovereignty, and that's how it is.
I think Gosker is certainly a horse that is probably going to the Classic. And by the end of this thing, when we're ranking, I could definitely see Gosker being, ranked within that 5 to 10. Like I wouldn't be shocked at all. I don't think he's good. I think he's very much like the top, like second class 3-year-old. I don't want that sounds bad, but like as of now, Magnitude certainly might make a case for that here in the next race. But I think he's like it's clearly those 3. Like I don't know how many times we need to see the 3 race each other, or it's Sovereignty, Journalism, Baeza. That's it. Like that's very much clearly the top 3. And then past that, yeah, I think Gosker could be. I think he make a definitely case for him being like those 3, and then him as like the top of those like East Avenues and the Burnham Squares and those kind of horses.
Well, I would think like Gosker, Goal Oriented, and like Magnitude would be the next 3.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then you kind of get to your other ones. Yeah. Gosker, I think is getting better with each race. It's just a matter of, he's another one guy. He's born in the wrong year. Like a lot of years he would have won the Haskell and he would have won the Preakness, but these horses this year are just really good. So you end up being like, I just don't know about him, but it's not because you don't like him. It's just because I really don't see him competing against those 2 yet. Or even those 3 really.
Yeah, it's like if journalism doesn't exist, then all of a sudden Gosker's like ranked number 4 or something on our list. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that kind of that year, right? Yep. And so it's not really insane to say Gosker needs to be on the list or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's just unfortunate who all is ahead of him.
I know.
And who should probably be that will probably be there in the Classic as well. So it's like to be the best, you got to beat the best, and he's got a bunch ahead of him.
And like I keep saying Gosker's got a race with his name on it, Goal Oriented, Baeza. But it's like then you stop and think, well, where is that race?
Yeah, where is he going to show up? Those don't show up.
Yeah, name a spot where it's going to be easy. There isn't one.
They don't exist unless some of these horses just go away. And I don't think that's going to happen. So
yeah.
All right, time for rapid fire. We're going to fly through these as we, none of them are huge races, but they're all very, very good races. This is rapid fire presented by Racing Dudes Premium. Head over to the website. Make sure you go check out the new look of the website, racingdudes.com. We've got free and premium picks, easier to access, easier to find than ever. So if you want to take a look at that, take a look at the premium offerings, you can do that over at racingdudes.com. We'll kick things off here, Halterman, at Saratoga on Friday. Let's see if we can run a Friday race at Saratoga on the turf without drama. The Ballstone Spa, grade 2, 300K, mile 16th on that turf for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. Field of 9 with some also eligible. Sounds like Be Your Best, who is double entered over there at Colonial Downs, might shoot for that race. We don't know for sure. But I kind of handicapped this, assuming Be Your Best would not be here, Halterman. Give me your shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same. Just assume Be Your Best is not around. We will see what happens there. Oh man, this is a pretty deep race. I feel like we could go a lot of different ways here. Uh, Again, I am going to assume Be Your Best is out of this one. I went back and forth. Give me the number 9 Deep Satin to win this race. Why? Same one?
Yeah, that's what I picked too. And
Yeah,
I definitely don't love, it's just an insanely tough race. And so it's funny
Yeah.
that we both landed. Give me your reason why you did.
Just kind of feels like this is the time. That's the best thing I could really say. I don't love anything in here. Like I was trying to say, I'm going to go probably as deep as possible in this, but I just feel like this is the race. It seems like it sets up really well for a horse to come out of it. Sharita having a really nice meet up there. Jose Ortiz is as well. It just kind of feels like this is the race that sets up for Deep Satin. I think this is just kind of a perfect spot, especially if Be Your Best does run in the Beverly D. I just feel like this is the spot.
Yeah. Listen, I like her. She is, like you said, Sherry DeVoe. And by the way, all the talk of last weekend of Pratt, and deservingly so, of how good of a weekend he had, Jose was right there. I think Jose had 6 wins on the week as well, the weekend. So, Jose's having a hell of a meet so far at Saratoga. And you watch the last couple, races. This horse, got second in that allowance at Keeneland, and then at Churchill Downs ran 5th. But then the next time out at Saratoga, won. This horse has won 2 times, two for two, I should say, at Saratoga. The distance is kind of right in the wheelhouse, I feel like. And yeah, I like drawing to the outside of what seems like there might be. It kind of depends, I guess, with the one. But certainly is some speed in the race that's going to show up. And another thing too, Alterman, I don't know if you felt this way. Obviously you did if you picked Deep Satin, especially when you have a couple Chad Browns to pick from. It's like you kind of want to pick the 6 Maggie Go, but you're like, couldn't get the job done last out. And again, that was the first effort in the United States. Could get better here. That's the one I'm most worried about, but I didn't. The stablemate beat the horse last time out, and I didn't love that. So that's kind of why I went elsewhere.
I looked at Maggie Go for a while, kind of thought the same thing for sure. I thought No Mo Candy for a second. I looked at that one a little bit, but I just kept coming back. Ozara, a horse I looked at as well. I just kept coming back and thinking, you know what? I think Deep Satin is a little bit better prepared for, or not better prepared. That's a bad word. Just this race just felt like it suited that horse pretty well.
Yeah, I'm with you. Deep Satin for me as well. The 9, we're going to go 5-1 on the outside. Let's go to Saturday now. We'll stay here at the Spa. Race 9, the Fastest Tipton in Saratoga Oaks. It's a grade 2, 500K, 1 and 3/16 miles on the turf for fillies, 3-year-olds, field of 6. Shows up here, and really to me it came down to it's either Laura Lynn, who's been awesome, or it's the new shooter. And that could be someone from Go-Go Boots or someone like that, because we kind of know Laura Lynn is kind of dominant right now.
Well, I'm going to give it one more shot. I'm going to go number 1, Opulent Restraint.
You can't quit her.
Well, last time out I had her in Exacta and she got 3rd. But Fione beat Nitrogen, and then Opulent Restraint was 3rd. And I really thought Opulent Restraint was going to beat Nitrogen that day when they turned for home. I just really like this horse. Gets better, keeps getting better. I know we don't have a win yet, but I just kind of feel like, again, this kind of feels like the time. I thought the last race was really good. I think the horse gets out in front again in this spot. It's a small field. I'm just using 2, Opulent Restraint and Laura Lynn. I think they're better than the rest.
Listen, what did you make of, I should ask, what do you think of, I guess, the new shooter, and that's Go-Go Boots with, the Bobby Flay owns, and, has been obviously from overseas, but, Miguel Clement has his trainer. What do you think of this horse?
Yeah, look, I'm interested. I think this is a pretty tough ask. I think Opulent Restraint's pretty good. I think Laura Lynn's pretty good, and I think you're gonna have to be, a very good horse to do it. Now, I do think, if you're going to say, hey, I think this European horse is just better than our group, then go ahead and play. But I just think Opulent Restraint and Laura Lynn are pretty darn good.
Listen, I'll be honest. I really wanted to go Boots, and I'll probably end up using her just because of the unknown factor. It's certainly, this horse faced Group 1, Group 2 company, finished 4th last time at Ascot, which is certainly no shame in that. But, this is by far an easier race. But it's not like the horse has been sniffing the winner's circle either, and that's a little bit of a concern. So, and I think Laura Lynn's solid. Really. So I think it's gonna take an effort to beat her. So I went Laura Lynn. I hate to do it as far as the price, but did beat Opulent Restraint 2 back, like you mentioned. So I'll go there one more time. Any side, no more love, real quick. Pedlo wants to know.
It's a tough spot. I don't hate them. I mean, all these horses are good, right? But I don't know. I think this is a little bit too tough of a spot for the two. Good race last time out though, but coming now out of Monmouth, coming here, it's a whole different world.
Let's go to the next race, race 10, the Sword Dancer, Grade 1, 750K, 1.5 miles for 4-year-olds and up. This is a Breeders' Cup challenge race for the Longines Turf. Field of 9 lines up here. Still don't know the odds, but you're looking at a couple new shooters. I say, international with Applebee's, El Cordobes maybe, and Nation's Pride. No stranger to United States racing, and Far Bridge. Halterman, you and I feel like have been kind of leaders of the of the bandwagon here this year. I should say bandwagon fan club. He's been awesome. So the question is, can he continue that awesomeness in what is a Grade 1 when that's somewhat been a struggle for him in the tougher Grade 1s in his past?
Yeah, I think this one is Farbridge's race to lose, to be quite honest. I think he is proven a few times now he's better than the American horses in here. And so it'll just be a matter of can he beat the Applebee's. And, I think Nation's Pride, obviously, with Buick aboard, that is the one they probably, I know probably about it. With Buick aboard that one, they think, he's a little bit better than El Cordobes. But he gets Pratt, El Cordobes, so that's not a bad sign either. I just think Farbridge is in better form than these horses. I think Farbridge is going to beat him. I think if they both run their absolute best, Nation Pride is a little bit better. But he's an inconsistent horse, and like I said, I don't know his form right now. I think Farbridge is going to – I think he's a great spot for him. We know he's in good form. 2 races back, he just barely lost to Deterministic, who came back to win the 4-star Dave last week and ran great. Last time out for Farbridge was just a paid workout, but he made it look like a paid workout. So I thought that was good. Listen, I'm going Farbridge. I think this is his race to lose.
Man, let's stop real quick and just the training job that Miguel has done with his stable. Christoph has got to be looking down, so proud of him of how it's not even skipped a beat. In fact, we know like Clement's, but like the way he's trained right now, the way these horses are running, just incredible. Like he's skipped 0 beats. Horses like Deterministic, horses like Farbridge, who are like, wow, these horses like they're running better than they ever have right now, and it's insane to say, but it's true.
It makes you proud. And look, I like Miguel Clement a lot as well, but I loved his dad because he just was such a good trainer and a good guy. And it really, really makes you just thrilled that Miguel's doing so well.
Oh yeah. And I think it helped. Like he was in the game, like he was part of that, training and everything with, for so long, and it just kept on going. But horses like I don't know, like horses like the Deterministics and Farbridges who felt like they're a little bit a cut below, who feel like they're finally kind of making a name for themselves now, is pretty cool to see with Miguel, who I'm sure has given himself quite a ride here with, he's got Deterministic in the Breeders' Cup. He's trying to get Farbridge now. I kind of went into this race like, all right, I'm going to beat Farbridge because, that's the sucker's play here. And I'm going to try to, use Nation's Pride, or even I'm going to go like, why did Appleby send 2 over? Maybe it's Pratt on the new shooter, and I kept going back to Farbridge. I kept going back to him. He's done me right the last time. I think this race is setting up for a horse to do something similar that Farbridge did last time out in the Bowling Green, where he just said, you know what, I'm going to take it. I'm going to go to the lead. I'm going to, I don't need to be on it, but I'm going to be really close. And, Nation's Pride and whoever is going to have to come get me. And I think that's what Farbridge is going to do here. It worked last time. I think they're going to do a similar tactic here. So I like Farbridge. I don't trust Nation's Pride. I just don't.
Yeah, it's still early in the week. I haven't made any decision on who I'm going to use or not use. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Like, I just kept looking and goes, you know what? I think this is Farbridge's race. So yeah.
It's a big race for him. Big race for him, as as they all are. But to kind of really secure himself as, hey, I'm the real deal, and heading to the Breeders' Cup. All right, let's go to Colonial Downs on Saturday. Race 10, the Beverly D, grade 2, $500,000, 1 3/16 miles on the turf for fillies, mares, 3-year-olds and up. Field of 6. Be Your Best is here. We do think she will run here, so I'm gonna assume she will run. Where are you going?
Yeah, if she runs here, I think she's the winner. I really like Be Your Best on top in this spot. She just kind of goes out there and wins races like this, right? She was able to win on Pegasus Day. She went out to California and won a race kind of similar to this. Now she's here at Colonial. Just kind of like, yep, this is the race for her. This is where it makes sense. So I went number 2, Be Your Best on top here. I think she'll show up to Colonial with a good race. She runs well every time, and I think she's good enough to beat this field.
Yeah, talk about, listen, whatever you want to say about Safi, but picking the spots pretty well. And other than that, Jenny Wiley has not really skipped a beat since last fall. And, the spot. And by the way, Aqueduct, Gulfstream, Keeneland, Santa Anita. Now we're assuming going to Colonial Downs here. It's like picking spots seems to be mostly, like I said, other than that, Jenny Wiley, the right spots. And I do think if she shows up here, she is going to be tough. I just don't love much in here as well. I do think Beach Bomb. I really wanted to go there with Beach Bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Still may, honestly, as far as using.
Yeah.
Because I do think this horse is interesting. She's kind of sniffed a couple wins there, especially in that New York last time out. She feels pretty. I couldn't quite go against. They want the hard surface. I think they'll get it here. So give me Be Your Best to win. All right, let's go to the main event on Saturday at Colonial Downs. That is Arlington Million. Grade 1, $1 million, $1.25 for the 3-year-olds and up on the turf, and field of 8. And you're seeing it. I don't know if I have it on the screen. I don't. You're seeing it correctly here. That is a horse named Mystic Dan, who won the Kentucky Derby, is running in the Arlington Million, going $1.25 on the turf. He's 9-2. Are you going to take him at 92?
No. I'm confused by it. I do think it's worth a shot. I don't think Mystic Dan's winning the Classic, so I think they're thinking, let's see if he'll try the take to the turf. It's a good spot to try it too. This field. I'm going to do something I've never done. I'm going to pick Integration. I've never picked him in a grade 1 race or a race that was a quote unquote, it felt big, right? But I'm going to do it here.
Wow.
How does he lose if he runs like he did last time out? That's my question. Last time out, he's second to Deterministic and he finished ahead of Farbridge. Integration, you cannot lose this race if you run that race back. Just show up with that race and you're going to win. He's been so disappointing and such a money burner in these big spots. And I've managed to stay away from him in all of them. I'm on the bandwagon here for the first time. I really like Integration in this race. I'm sorry. He should really, really be tough in this spot. He looks really good here.
I'll tell you what, and listen, I've been burned. You're a better man than I am, because I've been burned too many times by him where I'm like, no matter, it just kind of feels like no matter what the race is, he's going to run well and not win, and for to his help, one of his biggest threats in the race is a Kentucky Derby winner. So it's like,
yeah, right.
That certainly helps. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to go with the horse that somewhat new to the game here as far as Integration goes, and that's the 5, Caro, whatever.
Yeah.
I think he is super interesting. Go back and watch this. I watched a bunch of his replays because I was interested in kind of seeing him run, and He's been a variety of distances on the turf, of course, but he's been, look, he finished third in the Queen Anne last out at Group 1 at Ascot. And go watch that race. I mean, certainly a horse that you could say, hey, a mile is not worth, get this horse going longer. 2 back, you finish second in the Group 2, beat a horse who came back to win. You go back even further to like in Dubai. He's always running these really good races. His problem is the thing what I like to call the integration is winning.
That's right.
Yep. This horse has ran a bunch of times, 21 to be exact. He's only won 3 of them. So there's a concern. So you got 2 horses here, Halter, in the 5 and the 8, who both run very well most of the time and don't like to win. So something's got to give, right? Or Mystic Dan wins, I guess.
Yeah, I tell you what, this does have, quote unquote, something weird's going to happen written all over it, because yep. I was on Cairo to begin, because anytime I looked at integration, I said, yeah, right. And so that's what I do. And in a grade 1 races, it's like, yeah, whatever. And so you look, dude, I was studied Cairo for a long time. 3 for 21 is tough to swallow. Easier race though, for sure. So maybe I don't hate the pick. The other problem is, okay, I'll just go through them. Time Song, no. Vesting, no. Runaway Storm, no. Fort Washington, that's a horse I had on Preakness Day, but we kind of know he's just okay. Grand Sonata, he's just okay. Like, there isn't anybody to sink your teeth into. That's the problem. Like if Mystic Dan takes to the turf, he can definitely win.
Yeah. Do you think this is I don't know. He's got Torpedo Anna, which he's kind of been like saying he wants to get to the Classic. With Mystic Dan, I mean, listen, at first glance, you're like, hey, the Stephen Foster, left a lot to be desired. And then you're like, well, he got beat by Mindframe. He got beat by Sierra Leone. He got beat by First Mission.
Yep.
Certainly the top 2, very, very good horses. Maybe that's not such a bad loss. The Blame, he looked pretty good, really.
Yep.
He's ran 101, 99, 101 in his last 3 races, Buyers, that is. Why mess with it? You could say that. Like, why do you, or is it like, hey, it's a mile and a quarter race, and if there's ever a time to do it, now's the time?
Well, again, we're doing it on Tuesday this week, so I don't usually when we do the show, I've got the multi races formulated out. I don't have them formulated out yet. I don't know that I'm not going to use Mystic Dan.
I think I would use him, honestly.
Because
I would rather use him than, I would use just kind of, again, we haven't put our tickets together, but 1, 5, and 8 is where I wouldn't go. I would feel okay with that, honestly.
Yeah, you kind of would rather use him than like a Grand Sonata or a Fort Washington.
Oh yeah.
Because
here's the thing, I feel like we know what integration is, and he's solid, but you really don't. The unknowns are the 1 and the 5, right? Because you don't really know how good the 5 will translate here, and you certainly don't know what the 1's going to do when he gets to the turf. But if it does, then they both will be very tough.
I just keep going back to that last race for integration, and it's just like, man, oh man. If you run that race in this spot, I just don't think you'll be beat. He ran so well. Go back and watch that race. He really it feels like he should have won it. But anyway, it's just like, man, this is your chance. You can get a grade 1 right here. You know what I mean? It's just like, will you do it? I don't know. So
for someone who had him, had integration that day, I was like, I thought he had it. I was like, this horse is he's gonna finally break through and run exactly like I hoped. And but you talk about a race that's come back so well.
That's right. That's the thing. Like that day, you're kind of mad at him, right? And then like you look back and go, man, those horses are running great. So
yeah, Deterministic came back to win impressively. Farbridge won impressively. So yeah. But it's also Integration, who the last time he won was the Red Smith at Aqueduct.
I know, and that's the kind of race he wins. And, so
which you could look back at this race in a year and say, well, that's what this race is,
And there's the key.
Yeah.
I see Integration at grade 1 and go, okay, anybody but him. And then I handicap the other 7 and go, well, shit, this is it. He has to win this race.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
what I'm trying to say is if I'm picking him, it means I don't think much of the other 7.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm with you. This will be a fun one to see, just to see what Mystic Dan does, honestly. And
For real.
honestly, I think this is a big time. I don't really know, though. As I say that, I'm like, does it mean anything? Because if he wins, does he stay on the turf? And then
I
they're like,
think
hey, we got a
so.
turf horse, or is it like, hey, we're back to the classic? I don't know.
It gives him options.
No. But even if he won here, you're gonna be hard pressed to be like, yeah, that's a legit Longines turf horse, like for the class or for the Breeders' Cup, because it's like, God, is Mystic Dan really good enough to take down some of the Euros and all that stuff?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think so. Like sometimes when you get to the breed, now this year the classics great, but a lot of times you'll get to the Breeders' Cup, it's like, damn, that turf is going to be impossible for one of ours to win, let alone Mystic Dan.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch, guys. But I'm gonna be on the 5. Halterman's gonna play the 8, and we're saying here, it's Tuesday, but definitely don't forget about the 1, your Derby winner, Mystic Dan. Whew, that was rapid fire right there, boys and girls.
Yes, yeah,
that was for a weekend that we're kind of this is like not a ton going on. It certainly looks like it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, this weekend and next, it is a bit lighter than what we've had and what's coming, but it's still really, really good. And then you get the Travers, and then again, like the last weekend, you're gonna have the Pacific Classic, and you're gonna have that Jockey Club. I mean, it's usually that Labor Day weekend, it's good, but at Saratoga, it's kind of light. Not this year. It's gonna be big time.
And all those races are just gonna have critical, like implications to the classic. Like you're talking about legit, serious contenders in all those certain races. By the way, a little early preview, but I think I'm so fascinated to see what Nitrogen does in the Alabama. I know it's a couple weeks away, but that will be super. The Alabama Day will be super exciting too to see what she does.
Oh yeah, a lot of intrigue there, and that's a division that we've had some big performances, and so who's going to do what that day will be super interesting as well. And that's such a prestigious race that's always fun too. So yeah, I mean that's going to be fun. Honestly, with the Distaff division, Torpedo Anna hasn't looked as good this year. By the way, she's going to be running up there here on Travers weekend. So we'll just kind of have to see, because hey, if Nitrogen runs huge or somebody runs huge from the 3-year-old crop, they're going to have a chance in that Distaff. So
the one thing I'll say that's going to make me think of this was, and we have a lot of time to handicap that, but if you say that the race is kind of what we looked at earlier as far as our rankings go, we're to say this weekend, and we always say this about the Breeders' Cup, it comes a point where you're just going to have to say, you know what, I don't think Nisos is as good as these horses, or I just think Sovereignty's better, and you could be right or wrong, right? But like there are going to be a lot of rights and a lot of wrongs in the handicapping, and especially as we look at the Classic, because that race just feels like you could be all over. You just got to be like, you know what, here's my level. I don't think journalism is good to Sovereignty. I don't think any of these horses can touch Sovereignty. I think Magnitude being in the race is going to set things up for Sierra Leone. He won it last year. He's going to win. You know what I mean? Like you got to take an angle and just go with it. And in races like that just have such high level talent.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to me, I think the Classic looks easy. And everybody said, oh, this is going to be amazing. To me, like Sovereignty's better. And I think the winner of Mindframe Sierra Leone 3, let's say, up at Saratoga, that's your best older horse. Let's see if the best older horse can beat the best 3-year-old. That's the way I look at the Classic. Now, of course, Baeza will decide to win that day, but that's what I'm looking at,
Thanks, Goba. Appreciate it. Yep, it's fun doing these shows early in the week. Ideally we would do them all the time in the week, but a lot of tracks don't always like to have, and it's always tough. We don't know the odds and things like that to have the exact, the way we're going to play a race or that kind of stuff. And so ideally it'd be amazing because we get to talk about the weekend prior is still fresh and we're still digesting that, but also we can look ahead to the weekend ahead. And with racing, it's always so tough because it always feels like it's like moving. It's always the next up, and then you're like, you get to Thursday evening, and you're like, shit, we gotta just run with this thing, And
Yeah.
I like it because it gives me an opportunity to do these early shows because I could talk about what I saw last weekend, and it's still fresh.
Yeah, still fresh in your mind for sure. Yeah. I would rather do it a little bit later because we have the odds. That'd be great because but this week we had to do it early, so here we are.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for us. It's thanks for everybody. We had a lot of people in here with us tonight as we talked about really everything. And if anything, guys, hopefully you're all excited. I think based on the comments, as excited as we are for what's making it. It's not just a classic. Across the board. You look at some of these 2-year-olds who are starting. We didn't even talk about Ewing and Obliteration, that race. With what they're going to do as they start to stretch out. Brant, looks like a superstar. The 2-year-old division, obviously, like you said, and then just what Torpedo Anna is going to end up doing, and where's she going to run, and how the staff division is going to shake out. And this, you look at that. The test was awesome this year, with that sprint division.
Yeah,
I'm still not over that loss.
No,
man. But yeah, it feels like this Breeders' Cup it's shaping up to be a doozy for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. 2-year-olds do look good so far. And I keep telling people it's early. It's still early, guys. So there's.
Have you figured out? Have you come to a conclusion yet? What happened with the buyer, or was it just not? Was it just not fast? I mean, like if you would have better guessed that thing was a 90 and not a 70. You know what I'm saying? Like,
not really.
Just saying, like, watching it after you saw the times and the comparisons, and you were like, okay, now. But when you just watched it, you didn't watch it and say, wow, those are 2 dogs.
You watch it back, you might think that.
You don't think they were very good? Like, your bigger picture, you don't think they're very good?
So when I watched the first race, I was viewing it as, hey, it's Sovereignty versus Ewing, and I thought it was really good. When I just watched it, like on Sunday and Monday, I was like, it wasn't that good of a race. Now,
interesting. Good take.
Do I think they're not very good? No. Do I think they didn't run very well that day? Yes, I do. The problem is they were the slowest 7 furlong race by a good margin on that day. And that's why it's like I can't sit here and go, well, that's too low. Well, shit, it had to be. They ran 7 furlongs in 1:18. Like, it's just not a good time. So I didn't think either one of them ran very good. I thought Ewing missed the break, and then he rushed him up, and then I didn't think he finished all that well. Obliteration blows the turn. Like, that, to me, that cost him the race. And
yeah,
I thought both of them were really disappointing, honestly. Now, again, they're young. It's their Ewing second race, Obliteration's third. They may have bounced a little bit off those massive efforts where they did run really well. I'm not giving up on them, but I don't think either one of them ran all that well. I really don't. Now, again, does that mean I'm going to toss them next race? No, because there's evidence they can run better. But that
they'll also be stretching out. We'll assume Ewing definitely is. I don't know what their plans are, Obliteration, but we'll be stretching out.
Yeah,
See, that's a whole other aspect.
Exactly. And I don't know if I think with Ewing, it's like broke bad and then rushed up because it was a 6 furlong race, and they just felt like if I don't rush him up here,
Obliteration is going to go just cruise on home.
Yeah, and we're screwed.
Yeah,
and so I think I think Ewing really, other than missing the break, he probably did okay because he was tired in the stretch, but he kind of had a reason to be. The one that was really awful, in my opinion, was Obliteration because. Yeah, Ewing, misses the break, then he rushes up, but Obliteration's sitting right off of him. And it's just like, why did you blow that? Like, how did he blow? He didn't blow the turn in his first 2 races. And if you watch the race, like, Pratt is like jerking his head, and that horse still blew the turn. So I thought Obliteration was pathetic in that race. And I think Ewing was just okay. That's how I would describe it.
Well, you can't win the Derby in August or July. So there's still lots to, some horses. Brant, Dennis says don't get started on him. He doesn't like him, which is great because that means he'll he'll draft like another Admiral Dennis or something in the first round and give me Brant because I'm hoping I get him. But no, that's one start. I thought he was awesome. But again, you don't really know a lot off of just one race like that.
No, you don't. He's, Dennis is worried about the leg action on the left front, and it, he sent me the tweet where somebody's got it and it didn't look great, but I don't know what's going to happen there.
Well, if that's the case, then he probably won't even be healthy by, May next year anyway. So
yeah, these Baffords, I don't
you never
really
know with those Baffert horses.
Like, it's just one at a time, really. Like, I don't get thinking about the Derby with them. I mean, I will say this, like, as far as the look of a horse, Ewing looked the part. Like, he's got the look, right? Where Obliteration really didn't. And he ran like it. So again, if Ewing, I kind of look at the race and go, if Ewing hits, if he breaks well, he may have won by like 6. I really think when I watch it back, his biggest problem is he was pretty tired.
Yeah.
Obliteration was just all over the place. It was terrible.
Yeah, dude, like you talk about, Ewing looked like he was like, oh, damn, he missed a break completely. And then next thing you know, he's 3 lengths ahead. And you're like, oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like he literally he was not even, there was no consideration to be like, we're going to sit off. We're going, we're going to the lead. Yep. We're not going to, because I'm with you. I think if they just said, okay, we missed a break. Now it's time to make a 1-run type situation. And then you're like, well, Obliteration is in now that other situation where you're 4 lengths ahead of everybody.
Yeah. I think you're right. And I think it was the right decision. And I think people are probably mad at Pratt because he didn't go with him.
Oh yeah.
And I think Pratt was kind of thinking, well, I'll just kind of sit off of him. I've got him measured it. And honestly, when they started to make the turn, I kind of thought Obliteration was going to win. I thought it might get close because I didn't know what Ewing had left. And then when Obliteration blew the turn, and then he's still making up ground on him late, not much, but it's just like, boy, that was gross. So
well, Pratt made a comment after the race. His comments were like, I couldn't keep him straight.
He couldn't.
I fought him the whole stretch. I couldn't keep him straight. Yep. Obviously, he couldn't keep him straight in the turn.
Yep.
Because he blew the turn, and then he never could get his head straight. And
yep.
Meanwhile, Ewing skirted off, and it was tough to do. So yeah, those two will be fun to watch. Certainly Ewing to see if Nick's go. Super cool horse to kind of have that as a sire, and obviously Nick's go seemed like a sprinter and really obviously won the Classic. Like he did a lot. So let's see if he can go anywhere near that kind of level with his son there.
I wonder if they may have just brought him back a little too quick, because I know it was a month and you should be able to do it, but they ran so well. I just wonder if they maybe brought him back a little bit too quick off that type of effort. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Again, not that they'll tell the whole story, but it certainly will tell a lot more to the story next starts for those.
Oh,
two.
yes.
Like you said, there's at least a like, okay, there's an excuse. And then we'll see what they do. Certainly stretching out. But again, guys, go over to the website at racingdudes.com. You can check out all our picks, free picks, premium picks for all the weekend, Saratoga, Del Mar, Colonial Downs, all the tracks. We cover every single track running in America. You can find us on Twitter at race_dudes, Instagram, Facebook. You can find all episodes of Blinkers Off by visiting our podcast page, Apple Podcasts. YouTube, anywhere you like to listen to podcasts, we're there. Make sure you hit that like, notification, and subscribe over on YouTube. Thank you, everybody that's been joining us here, almost 400 strong the whole way through live, and that is a benefit of joining us on YouTube, as you can ask questions and comment, and we can interact with you guys as we go through each race and the Classic and all those fun topics. Let's see, Magic Mike is going to be on. I mean, shit, we're so early. I think might as well not even plan for it, but Magic Mike will be on later this week. Dudes Who Bet will be. When do you get? What's Dudes Who Bet going on? Or are you guys
going to take the week off from Dudes Who Bet this week? Okay. Yeah.
So no Dudes Who Bet. You guys are gonna have to be without Papa Dude for a week. See if everybody can handle that.
But I will say this: you want to listen to it next week, because next week will be the NFL preview.
I'm ready.
Okay,
I'm ready. Man, I can't wait. I'm so pumped for football.
Me too.
Let's see. It's a 600 episode. Wow.
For Magic Mike, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yep.
That's wonder what dumb shit they're gonna have up their sleeve.
Well,
today. That's not fair to Samich. What's
I was gonna
Magic
say,
gonna have up his sleeve?
Good point.
Samich is he's a smart man. He kind of keeps it at, it's like, hey, if I don't have too much to do with this, I can't get, criminally charged one day. So that's a smart way to go about it.
That's a pretty good way to put it. I agree. Samich is on the show, but that's where his
like he's there, but he doesn't have to be all the way there, just in case things go so it goes south. You're like, hey, I'm just there. I didn't have to, I wasn't the one that brought the baby on screen, and it's, you never know.
It's a decision. It's a decision.
But hey, I always tune in to see what happens. So there you go.
Well, and who knows if Magic will even be there too? So we'll see.
That's true. It was a John Sadler lookalike last week. So
that I did notice that. Yes.
I saw a comment that said that. So I looked at it. I was like, yeah, I can see it, I guess.
What?
So
didn't they say like John Sadler's long lost brother?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Whoever said that.
Yep. Every once in a while I see a comment, and that was one I saw. All right, guys. I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. Hey, I guess I can say have a great rest of your week and good luck this weekend.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Blinkers Off. Join our horse racing community at racingdudes.com and follow us on Twitter at racing_dudes. Want to make money betting horses? Bet with the Racing Dudes.